STI. It's 31 degrees out today. First day of the season where we have frost on the cars. Now luckily I got my garage nice and insulated, wall boarded for build season. We got some good things coming down the pipeline this winter as far as 350Z build goes. Alright, we're cruising in the STI. We're going to do an STI review video right now. We got a 21 STI with 25,000 miles on it. I bought it with 17,000 miles on it. Now when I bought the car, I bought it because I was trading in my BMW. I lost the main key to the car, and the spare key would not start the car. And I tried to go get a replacement key. They wanted $900 for a replacement BMW key, and they were telling me that it would be like 2 to 3 weeks to get an appointment to even get a key. So they wanted me to go 3 weeks without a car. So my buddy is a car salesman. I seen he had a post of this car on the internet. It's a 21 STI, like I said, 17,000 miles. Looked clean as fuck. Super shiny. Has some nice ass Rohano wheels on it. Had the cob tag on the front, the license plate delete. But besides that, it was bone stock. I test drove the car, and so the STI and the 350Z are way different cars. 100% completely different cars. Can't even compare the two, they're so different. Like, they're in two different classes completely. I mean, one's a rear wheel drive car that's, super raw and just like wants to rip your face off every time you press the gas. And then there's the STI, which is, they say the last or dying breed, is the last of the most raw feeling Subarus or whatever they want to say, because obviously they switched to the WRX thing in 2022 that doesn't have an EJ, but they're still calling it a Subaru WRX, which I don't know. To me, it's super gay. It looks like a fucking weird ass Civic on steroids. I mean, it's the only thing that makes it look like a Subaru is the hood scoop. Not a fan of it at all. But here we are. A couple months later, I ended up going on Marketplace and looking for some parts, and I found the guy that used to own the car and traded in the dealership. I found him, and he was selling a full set of winter tires on wheels, Cobb stainless steel exhaust, Cobb SF intake, short couldn't even hear it to shift. I had to literally like look at the tachometer and stuff to shift, and I shift by ear, by sound. Like I'm used to the friggin' Tome 350Z. Like that thing is ridiculously loud. So anyways, the mods on the car, it's much better. You can actually, it actually sounds like it has a turbo because the intake, and it also sounds like a Subaru now because it has an exhaust. You know, it basically should come this way stock from the factory, in my opinion. And when I got tuned, I got a virtual dyno. You put it up, it was about it said it was 290 wheel and 310 torque. And I mean, they say that the virtual dyno is pretty freaking accurate when you compare it to a regular dyno, this one that he uses or whatever. I don't know how accurate it is, but the car feels decent for what it is, you know? I mean, you can't expect it to be super fucking fast. It's 290 wheel, you know? But I will say this. For the 290 wheel, it puts every bit of that fucking 290 to the road. All four tires, obviously. So that's another cool thing about the STI is you can change all the things about the differential. Every single setting in the differential, you can choose it. You can fade it to the front. You can fade it to the back. You can keep it all the way in the middle. You have an auto setting for the front, you have an auto setting to the rear, and you can get it to that way you put like 70%, I believe, to the rear tires. You guys feel free to correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure it's 70% you can get to the rear wheels just by fucking with the settings on this. And you also get, you know, you get sport mode, intelligent mode, and sport sharp mode with this intelligent drive shit thing, SI drive. So you get those three modes. Now in most cars I've been in, when they have a sport mode and all these other things, like they don't really terribly do too much. Like maybe you feel a little bit of difference, but like in my F30, like it had, I actually downloaded like an M Sport like mode onto the car, and even that didn't come close to the difference that this car makes between intelligent mode and sport sharp. Like not even close. Sport sharp basically makes the throttle like extremely responsive, you know, or is an intelligent, I feel like it's a little bit delayed. They say, I mean, there's a little cool thing that comes up on the screen, and it basically shows like the boost curve, and it's showing that the boost comes on earlier when you're in sport sharp than it does when you're in intelligent, you know. And if you pay attention to the access port of your other gauge here, you know, the stock gauge, you'll see that when you're in sport sharp versus the other modes, you get different boost levels. So it's a cool car. Like I bought this car because I needed a back seat for a baby, and I didn't have any cars that had a back seat. You know, I have a 300ZX, no back seats. 350Z, no back seats. Work truck the back seat is a fucking speaker, and it's the back seat is a speaker and a bunch of tools basically. You know, got 312s in the truck. My bad, 310s. All sundown. And yeah, so this is a fucking cool car. I really would love to get another one of these and just go balls to the walls and put it up to like 600-700 horsepower. This car would be absolutely insane at that power level. Like I don't know how it stacks up to other cars exactly, you know, at that power level, but what I do know is that the difference between this at basically 300 wheel and 600 would be freaking insane. Like the launches on this car I started doing it. I've only done it like 3 times, but like watch a couple videos on it and you'll learn how to do it correctly. Just set it on the access port. I have mine set right now to 4300. There is a lot of guys that like to set it at 52 to 5300. Now, the biggest thing about that is understanding a clutch slip launch, basically, because like when I started drag racing a lot, I had to really understand the clutch slip launch, because like, yeah, sure, it slipped the clutch a little bit. I'll launch at 5,000 RPM. So, you know, when I started doing that, I was just breaking everything on my 350Z. Because probably because I wasn't doing it correctly, maybe, you know. But basically, like in the 350Z, you put it at 5,000 RPM, and you you let the clutch out quickly, but like also super smoothly and really slow until it starts to engage. You know what I mean? It's hard to explain, but like you gotta kind of ease into where you start to feel it engage, and then just smoothly and quickly kind of get out of it, but not too fast. It's just it's a matter of feel, you know. You'll get it eventually. You just gotta keep on trying with it. Took me a whole season to finally get it right, and then that's when I decided that I was gonna launch this car. And I did it a couple times, and it is fun, man. It gets up. Like, it gets out of the hole. It gets out. And here we are. We're coming up on a little exit ramp because we're about to get on the thruway, so we'll get a little bit of a pull, but it's also Sunday morning, so I don't want to get too far above the speed limit right at this section. And we got cars anyways. That's all we can do. We got fucking cars. Got someone doing 37 in the fast lane. Blind, I can't see nothing. Alright, now we gotta slow down and get this sun out of my eye. With this car, getting on the thruway, it's nice. It's very fun. My goal for this car is going to be 400 wheel. I have the 21, so obviously I have the RA block, and my tuner says that I ain't gonna just stay under 400 and it'll be reliable. So that's my goal with this car, keep it reliable, stay right about 400, right under it, you know. It'll be E85, and eventually, like I said, I want to get another one. These cars are not cheap, I'll tell you that. They're definitely not cheap. So sticker price on this car when I got it was 17K, was 38,000, and then I added on some warranties and some ceramic coatings and stuff like that, and it ended up going up to like closer to 45 ish. I don't know the exact number. It might have been like 43 or something, but it wasn't cheap regardless. But I also added on a lot of shit. It's a really nice, really good car. I mean, I'm using it as my family car. Every single week I drive it an hour to my lady's fucking parents' house and back, so take the baby out there. And yeah, it just drives great. Like, I'm always looking at the access port, because you gotta pay attention to stuff. You just gotta drive it right. Everybody says that Subaru is super unreliable and whatnot. Then well, everybody said that BMW is super unreliable. My BMW never broke, not once. Not once. I beat the hell out of it all the time. Took care of it, but I also